Thanks for joining us for City Council Comments. I'm Steve Erickson along with Councilmember Brad Gostrowiak. Today we're talking about both the January 2nd and our January 16th City Council meetings. Thanks for coming in today.
Hi Steve, thanks for having me.
Our first show of the new year, our first two meetings of the new year.
Can you believe it? 2024?
I know.
Second week of 2024 already. Things are really going quickly.
And now in January, it's starting to feel a little bit more like winter. We got pretty lucky in December there with our warmer weather. Our golf course was open a little longer. People were still out there, I think, right before Christmas, even hitting balls.
We had someone in from the Coon Creek Lake Association the other day, and they mentioned there was water skiing in December this year. Yeah, so really weird year, isn't it? But now sub-zeros.
Yep. Reality has hit. So, all right. So we are here in January. Our beginning of the year is really your first meeting of the year is an organizational meeting. That was mostly what was on our agenda on Tuesday, January 2nd. It's sort of to get ready for the year ahead.
That's right. The first meeting of the year is really just an organizational housekeeping meeting. Yeah. Not a lot of other business on that meeting, but just had to take care of some basic things, make some designations and things of that nature.
Yeah. So basically, you designate a council secretary, which has stayed the same. Our official newspaper, which is the Anoka County Union Herald.
Correct.
We need that for official notices. Then you do various board and commission appointments. Those are the different commissions we talk about a lot. The Park and Rec, Sustainability, Arts, all of those.
Planning, all those. We make annual appointments and then reappointments as well, as also designating chairs in many of those commissions. Yep.
All right, and then you also do council appointments, which some of the council sits on various advisory boards, different things along with staff.
Anoka County related boards and things like that. So many of the council members are on those commissions as well. And we just reappoint those. Not a lot of changes this year, but business that we needed to take care of.
All right, and one of the other last ones was designating our official depository, which I believe is U.S. Bank.
That's correct.
If I'm remembering correctly. All right, so that was literally, we had started at 7, we adjourned at 7:31. That was the bulk of the meeting, but we'll talk about two items under new business that we wanted to talk about. Council adopted a resolution establishing Bunker Hills Golf Course fees and charges. We talked about that. They got a little bit of a longer season because of the nice weather last year.
That's right. We had a really good year at the golf course. We had a presentation there by Tim Anderson, the director of operations out there. One of the things that I took away is that in 2023 he sold a record number of the patron cards. So it's a very popular golf course, not only in Coon Rapids but in the surrounding area. And one of the things that we did this year is just took a look at all those fees, the green fees, the various fees associated with golf, and just made some adjustments based on inflation, the economy, and things like that. We are very competitive with that course, and that's a beautiful course for what we have here, and very popular. So,
Yeah, so it's trying to stay competitive. That's kind of probably how we gauge the market and see what others are charging and try to stay competitive within that.
Right, and they listed us for us in the council, various fees and courses around the regional area, and we are right in there, very competitive, which makes it so popular.
Yeah, all right, well, golfing will be back before we know it here. All right, Council adopted a resolution approving the 2024-2025 International Association of Firefighters Labor Agreement. This is actually the second labor agreement Council saw. The police labor agreement was approved at I believe our last meeting in December.
That's correct. And those agreements are usually 2 to 3 years, and so now we have negotiated with the firefighters union and the police union. Both are very similar in what we took away for this next agreement. A lot of good faith negotiations between union representatives and our staff, and we came away with agreements that really cover cost of living increases and a few other little things like that. Now we are set all the way through 2025, which really helps us in our budgeting process over the next couple of years, and we've got that locked in. So really glad to see that. Yeah,
it's always that balance, I imagine, with what is inflation going to do versus, it's nice to know what you have going into the budgeting process, because that starts so early each year.
Yep, it's already started.
For next year. Staff has already started for 2025.
That's right.
All right. Again, like we said, that was pretty much all the new items we had on our council meeting.
That's right.
For our first meeting of the year, we'll go back to this week, Tuesday, January 16th. We had our second meeting of the year here, and kind of a fun thing to kick things off here. It's Snowflake Days coming up, and it's their 60th anniversary. So we had a proclamation, and then the marquee was also in.
That's right. You mentioned that the second meeting of the year, which is actually a fairly small, short meeting too. But majority of that meeting took up for this celebration of the Snowflake Days. Of course, it's our 60th anniversary of this great community event, and we had a great presentation by some folks there, and we're looking forward to this 2-week 2-week event this year with a lot of events. So I'm sure you have some of that information that's maybe going to go out later. But I had to go look at, there's so many. I printed them all off. There is over 20 events over the next couple of weeks with Snowflake Days.
Yeah, they tried to bring some more stuff back with the 60th anniversary, tried to have more this year. It actually spans a total of 3 weekends, about 2 weeks, but 3 weekends. And things kick off on Saturday, January 27th. With quite a few events, the medallion hunt, scholarship pageant. There's going to be an ice bar this year, which is kind of new.
That's right, at Chanticleer Pizza.
Assuming it doesn't melt before, because things are supposed to warm up again here now.
Yeah. Well, you never know in Minnesota and Coon Rapids, right?
So yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on. Of course, the Snow Sculpture Contest. You have to register by the 29th online, so if the snow doesn't all melt by then, the weather obviously is going to play a factor in some of this, but
again, there are so many events. Go to our website and check them all out. There's a chili feed. We've got a parade. There's open skating at Crick. There's just so many things to do with your family. It's just a great event. A lot of planning went into this 60th. A lot of people behind the scenes making this work out. We appreciate all the volunteers behind the scenes on all this.
All right, CoonRapidsSnowflakeDays.com has everything. You can also get the link to that and some of the events on the city's website. Again, runs from January 27th through February 11th, Snowflake Days. So, and we also, I guess we should mention, we don't have them here at this point, but we also, they had a contest for kids for the Snowflake button. So we recognized the first place, second place, and then 2 honorable mentions at the meeting.
Yeah, that's right. We last did this for the 50th, where we had the community enter in and design the buttons that we have. So yeah, first, second, and third place winners, all 4, well, that's 3 buttons. And then the city sanctioned button will all be on sale at various locations throughout Coon Rapids.
All right, and you do need the button in order to claim the medallion hunt prize. So get a button. I know they'll be on sale at City Hall for sure, and then a couple local businesses.
That's correct.
All right. Now I've moved all of my stuff over here, so we'll move back here. Under our consent agenda, Council adopted a resolution approving 2 appointments to our Sustainability Commission.
Right. Commissions are very valuable and helpful to the running of the city, and so we had 2 new members of the Sustainability Commission. If I got these names right, we appointed new members Lynn Riley and Josh Zeller to the Sustainability Commission, and they'll help make policy for our city. So we really appreciate their work, and there's also openings on other commissions. So if you're interested in serving on some of these commissions, give our city administrator a call or look on the website, and you can find more information on that.
Yes, certainly. There's an application there. You can submit it. You can kind of rank which commissions you might be interested in serving, and then they keep those on file for when these openings do come up. They kind of have a list to go from.
Right. We sure appreciate the volunteers.
Yeah, you couldn't do it without them. They really do a lot of the legwork before things get to council.
Right.
So, yeah.
Wouldn't be so smooth at those council meetings if we didn't have all that happening behind the scenes.
We might have longer than 30-minute meetings sometimes. All right. Moving forward, council considered insurance renewals and established limited cleanup and property damage protection for sewer backups. This is a big one we talk about each year because some folks don't really realize they might not have this sewer backup coverage in their own homeowner's policy, but they should.
That's correct. Part of our annual insurance policy, by the way, which stayed flat this year. So we didn't have a lot of claims, so our premiums were staying pretty flat. The council was very happy to see that. But one thing that we offer to our residents is extra insurance for backup. So between the house and the street, that's actually the homeowner's responsibility. So if there's a backup somewhere in that line and your house is affected, that's your own personal responsibility. Make sure that your homeowner's insurance covers for that. A lot of homeowners' policies don't have that endorsement. So we just try to help a little bit. I think it's a $10,000 policy that we'll provide. And last year there were 6 cases of that where that insurance kicked in and we helped our homeowners on that. A good value, being that we're such a big entity, we can really get a value of scale when we purchase these insurance programs. So helps out our residents.
Yeah. So again, this is just $10,000. If you have a finished basement and something backs up in there, it's going to be a lot more than $10,000. So again, we encourage folks to check with their insurance. And I think I have like a $50,000 maybe on mine that I added, and it's like $50 for the whole year.
That's right.
So it's usually pretty inexpensive, but you do have to ask for it as it's usually an additional endorsement or rider. on your policy. So
We always make that reminder this time of year when we select that
Yeah.
coverage to reach out to your insurance provider for that.
yeah, hopefully it's never needed,
coverage,
but
right.
you want to be prepared if
But
it
it
is.
does happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Council considered a resolution accepting plans and specifications for the 2024 mill and overlay and full depth reclamation project and authorize a solicitation of bids. I know at a previous meeting we already starting to look at the street reconstruction projects. This is in a couple different areas.
Right. This is separate from our regular street reconstruction program, which we have planned out over the next 5 years, 10 years, things like that. But no, this is just all part of our regular maintenance program. But we have 2 projects in Coon Rapids that the roads have deteriorated to such a degree that we just can't go through and just fill those potholes anymore or do any work like that. So in 2 cases, we are going to do what's called a mill and overlay. So in these cases, we just grind up the tar that's there now. We grade it out, we compact it down, and then put a new fresh 2-inch layer of asphalt on this. So we're one of the biggest projects on here is on Direct River Drive. Okay. So Direct River Drive is a very well-traveled route. There's a lot of neighborhoods in between Coon Rapids Boulevard and the river, and Direct River Drive supplies all of those streets. That street has been in pretty bad shape for the last couple of years. So what we're doing here is Direct River Drive is actually on our street reconstruction plan, but not for another 10 years. Okay. And in 10 years, we're going to actually do some work underneath the streets as well. So what this does is it gives us at least 10 years of runway to get that done. Okay. And we'll have this mill and overlay done. Very economical way to get that street reconstructed.
All right. Well, I know everybody appreciates a smooth ride out there, so it sounds like these are good value for what you get.
They are. And another thing to point out on this is that is going to be a mill and overlay. It's going to look like a brand new roadway. It's really not a brand new roadway. It is just a mill and overlay. So this is not a accessible or a
assessment.
Okay. There is no assessments on this, unlike our regular full depth reconstruction that is accessible by the homeowner.
Okay. All right. Moving forward, Council introduced an ordinance. This rezones this piece of property from office to general commercial, 3161 Northdale Boulevard. This is the old Edina Realty location. They're not there anymore?
No, I don't believe they're there anymore. Yeah, this is right on 120th and Northdale Boulevard, kind of kitty corner from Target, Von Hansen Meats, Dino's, that kind of area right in there. And the new owners are requesting a zoning change on there. And what's interesting here is it's just an introduction right now, but we're rezoning it from office to general commercial. Yeah. But in looking back at this, that whole entire area was actually zoned commercial in the first place. So there was a little carve out for office at this point. Okay. And so we can just make better uses if we turn it back into a commercial area, and we're looking to do that. I support it. Okay. It was just introduced recently, so we'll look at that at the next meeting.
All right. Well, again, we had a fairly short meeting for our second meeting of the year. Now I know why you agreed to do the show this time, right? You're like the smart guy. Yeah. Like 15 minutes in and out.
Yeah.
We do have a couple other things though we can fill with here and talk about. I know you were there last night, but we had the Senate Capital Investment Committee here. They're kind of been on a couple-day tour of Minnesota on bonding, looking at different requests from across the state. Of course, we're looking to secure some money for our Highway 610 East River Road interchange project.
Yeah, this is a big deal for the city of Coon Rapids. So last night at City Hall, the City Hall hosted the Senate Capital Investment Committee. Annually they do what's called the Senate Bonding Tour. Yeah. So in the governor's bonding request this year, there is money for the full interchange at 610 and East River Road in Coon Rapids. But we had the bonding committee into the city council chambers for a presentation. The mayor, several members of the council were there, including myself. We had a couple of Anoka County commissioners there, Gamache and Schulte, and we also had our state senator Jim Abler was there. So we really appreciate the support of these elected officials in supporting this. And it was a very well planned out, very good presentation on the interchange. So really, if people aren't familiar with this, when 610 came through, and 610 was constructed and completed way back in 1987. Yeah. So, and then back in 1987, Coon Rapids was a contributor and participated in this with the expectation that we would have a full interchange on 610 into Coon Rapids. Well, that never happened.
Yeah.
And so for the last 30 years or so, we've been trying to get a full interchange in Coon Rapids. And now all the pieces are finally coming together. With the realignment of Foley Boulevard that was completed over the last couple of years, there's really a good spot on East River Road where we can make that east-west connection in both directions. So all the pieces, again, are in place. We have some funding already in place. The City of Coon Rapids is committed funding. Anoka County is committed funding. The state of Minnesota and the transportation has bonded a few $1,000,000 to get us to where we are right now. So we're asking the state to, we're requesting funding in the amount of $23 million from the state, and it's looking pretty good that we'll get it. In addition to that, we also have funding sources from a federal program on the freight program, so we're looking at about $10 million there. And then also we have put in for $10 million of funding through the Met Council regional solicitation. So all told, a pretty big project, $42 million project, well, about 41.6 is where it stands right now, and we're just moving closer and closer to getting this done for our residents.
Yeah, it's been, and it was kind of funny. Some of the senators that were here talked about, oh, I've done that before. Because we all talk about once you get onto that 610 there, you cannot get off at Coon Rapids Boulevard because that's also not a full access interchange. And that was looked at one time as becoming one, but they weren't able to do that, which is why East River Road became kind of the point to look at. You hit East River Road, you can't get off there. I mean, your only options are to go to Noble Parkway in Brooklyn Park or down to 85th, make a U-turn. And we did that on a drive, and it was like an extra 7 minutes, I believe, and 40 seconds that it adds to a trip. And we're talking about businesses trying to get to the industrial area there for deliveries and other things.
This is right in the heart of our major industrial area. So you look at all that freight that's moving in and out of that area, and they can't get on and off 610 with ease. They have to be diverted through residential streets, creating a public safety hazard, not to mention all the wasted gas and emissions and going through our neighborhoods like that. So there are so many things that rate us very highly to get this done that I'm very hopeful that we will have this done.
Yes, and of course, lots of communities, lots that are competing for a small pool of money. So we'll see what happens. Hoping for good things as the governor put out his bonding proposal this week, and the $23 million was included in his proposal. But again, we don't really know anything until I think like the last day of the session, in May.
Yeah, right. So, everything gets crammed into the last few days of the session. It always seems that way.
So we'll know more hopefully by the end of the May
But we have full support from all of the key members in Anoka County up here, the state representatives, the city of Coon Rapids, etc.
All right. One other thing here, the Winter Concert Series is coming up here. A little shorter this year. Our first concert's usually in January, but it kicks off this year in February.
Yep, starts in February, and I believe there are 3 concerts this year for that. Of course, this is sponsored by the Arts Commission. So look on the website. There's a couple of different types of music that you can come and see out at the concert series.
All right. And then the one other thing I wanted to mention is the presidential primary is coming up here. I guess we're part of Super Tuesday, which the vote is on March 5th. That's actually, the polls are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. People go and select their nominee for president. But absentee voting is kicking off here this week at City Hall starting Friday, which would be the 19th.
That's right. It seems early for that, but it is open to the public starting at City Hall. On the, did you say the 19th?
It's the 19th. Just tomorrow they open up for, because it's like 46, it's so many days before the actual primary.
Right.
So, and I guess I forgot we did this. We apparently did this 4 years ago. I don't recall this where we actually had that, because previously folks went to caucuses and did their voting at the caucuses, but now we actually do an official vote with the polls like many other states do. So you can find out more at mnvotes.org about all this. We do have a link as well and more information on the city's website, but we just wanted to put that out there that absentee voting begins January 19th for the presidential primary. You can vote at City Hall in person here or also at the Anoka County Government Center.
That's right. And we're fully prepared for this. We have a really good system in place for elections here in Coon Rapids. A lot of volunteer folks overseeing the elections, judges and things like that. So it should be a real smooth process here for us in Coon Rapids.
All right. Well, that's all I have. Is there anything else you've thought of that you want to talk about?
You know, like I said before I came in, both meetings this month were pretty brief, and so there's not a whole lot going on in terms of the business of the city, but we're running in good shape right now. We're looking forward to 2024 and serving our community.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's that way. You know, you end the year, things wind down, and then you kind of wind back up, you know, throughout January. So, well, we appreciate you coming in today and talking to us about our meetings this month.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you at home for watching, and we'll see you back here again after our 2 meetings in February.